Hi, my name is Brett Pollock. I'm the president of Insurance Allies. We operate axthrowinginsurance.com. I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on BYOB language. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to show you a insurance policy, general liability insurance policy. Make sure it comes up. Okay. So here you will find a general liability insurance policy. When I review insurance policies, a general liability policy, the first thing that I look for is I will actually go to the bottom. And does it say Insurance Services Office Inc. 2012? To the left, does it say CG, which is Commercial General Liability 00010413? This is April 2013. This is the latest version of a general liability policy form in America, stamped, issued, and approved by Insurance Services Office Inc. They did not make this thing up. There are insurance companies that will make up their own insurance policies. And in my opinion, that is extremely dangerous because you do not know what words they change. So let's read this, just a few parts of it. Insuring agreement. We will pay those sums that the insured becomes legally obligated to pay as damages because of bodily injury or property damage to which this insurance applies. The definition of general liability is bodily injury or property damage to other people. Now, for an axe throwing venue, bodily injury is the primary concern. You know, somebody comes in your place, they trip and fall, they get hurt throwing an axe. I mean, if somebody gets hurt, they can sue you. That is what general liability is meant to cover you for. A standard liability policy comes with $1 million worth of coverage, which is what this contract does as well. Now, with every insurance policy, it is extremely important. I mean, this is a 196-page document. They give you coverage, but there are always exclusions, and it is extremely important that you fully understand what the exclusions say. Now, you will find your exclusions on the next page. All of these exclusions, they all make complete sense. They all make complete sense, but it's extremely important for you to understand what they say. Expected or intended injury, A. And you can't go up to a person and punch them in the face because you do not like how they look and think your policy is actually going to cover you. But then it says this exclusion does not apply to bodily injury resulting from the use of reasonable force to protect persons or property. I mean, if you have a madman come in your place, he's trying to hurt everybody. Of course, you'll have to use reasonable force to stop them. You're going to save everybody else inside. Contractual liability. They're not going to cover you because of a dumb contract you signed with your next door neighbor, Bob. And Bob comes up to you and says, hey, I'm getting sued by so-and-so. I don't want to pay for this lawsuit. Let's sign this contract together and make your insurance company pay for that. They're not going to pay for that. Liquor liability, C. If you are selling alcohol, you have to have what's called liquor liability insurance coverage. In my opinion, it really should be called alcohol liability, but for some reason, somebody at some point in time named it liquor liability, and the terminology just stuck. So number 1, 2, and 3, essentially, contributing to the intoxication of any person, the furnishing of alcoholic beverages. I mean, basically, the sale of alcohol is excluded on a general liability policy. Now, if you go to the right side of the page and you scroll down, you're going to see a paragraph here. This is the standard form. Now, just like under A, expected or intended injury, where they gave you a carve back and it says this exclusion does not apply to bodily injury resulting from the use of reasonable force to protect persons or property, there's also carved back with an exclusion C. And if you read this, the carve back says, however, so again, selling, serving, or furnishing alcoholic beverages is all excluded. But then it says, however, this exclusion applies only if you are in the business of manufacturing, distributing, selling, serving, or furnishing alcoholic beverages. For the purpose of this exclusion, permitting a person to bring alcoholic beverages on your premises for consumption on your premises, whether or not a fee is charged or a license is required for such activity, is not by itself considered the business of selling, serving, or furnishing alcoholic beverages. This is your standard BYOB language, and you can find it under a general liability policy within exclusion C. So this client of ours has BYOB coverage, correct? Wrong. Again, this is a 196-page document. Insurance companies, unfortunately, these things are not so straightforward. They give you coverage, then there's exclusions. But then there are often endorsements to insurance policies. Endorsements are changes, or rider might be another term that you might have heard. So we need to scroll through. We need to go through this entire document to really do our due diligence. I'm scrolling through, and I come across this page, this endorsement. This endorsement right here says Amendment of Liquor Liability Exclusion. Again, endorsement means change. It changes the policy. Amendment of Liquor Liability Exclusion. Now, remember, we just read Exclusion C under the General Liability Policy. Exclusion C was Liquor Liability Exclusion. This is changing the Liquor Liability Exclusion up above that we just read. And it says the following replaces Exclusion C under paragraph 2. Again, that it is changing that entire paragraph. Sorry, it says replaces, not changes. It says replaces. You might as well throw the entire paragraph up above that we just read, throw it out, delete it, and you're going to replace it with this entire page instead. And it says exclusion, so now it's being replaced with this. This insurance does not apply to C, liquor liability. 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much the same, selling, serving, or furnishing alcoholic beverage. Go to the right side. Where'd that paragraph go? Where'd it go? Where it gave you BYB? It's gone. And it says this exclusion applies only if you are, read number 4, permit any person to bring alcoholic beverages on your premises for consumption on your premises. They removed your BYOB language up above, and they now say this exclusion applies. You'll have BYOB excluded. I cannot tell you how important it is to read your full insurance policy. These policies are contracts. They're extensive contracts, and we come across venues all the time that call us and say, hey, can you get us a better price? What's your alcohol situation? I'm BYB. And we do comprehensive review their insurance policies, only to find out that there's actually an exclusion for BYB on their policy when they thought they were covered. I cannot tell you how important it is to read your policy and also consult with the lawyer. Anyways, thank you for joining our quick tutorial on BYOB language. Thank you so much.